Okay, I've now welded my billet onto a handle. This will make it a whole lot easier to handle. I use a party tool with vise grills. This will allow me to use a two-handed sledge. Make most short work of the piece. I'm going to heat it up and flux it, and we're going to start forging this thing out. When we're done, it'll be a square billet, about 3/4 square and about 8-9 inches long. Okay, the billet is now fully formed. You can see there's no trace that it was ever a piece of cable. What I'm going to do now is form the tang, which requires the use of a spring fuller. We're going to heat the end section up here and form the tang with a heavy hammer. Okay, my tang is now formed. Always leave yourself room for grind tolerance since you're forging a blade. You always want to leave room for oopses and errors because that's going to happen. Okay, my tang is now cut or forged in. Always leave yourself some grind tolerances because accidents and oopses will happen. Next thing I'm going to do is put a curve in the blade, start by preform, because as you forge the bevels, the blade will naturally curve, so you want to curve into and come out as straight as possible can. And then I'm going to cut an angle. You use a chisel, or I prefer the Metabo because I'm lazy. And this will start the point. That's a very old school way. This is where the term clip point knife comes from, because the blacksmith would clip the point. Alright, I'm going to heat it to form the preform. Now I have my preform done. I'm going to cut the point into it. I now have my point cut into the blade. It's ready to start forging. Okay, I'm ready to start forging the bevels. I'm going to use a 3-pound hammer with a squared off head. Now the reason why you do that as opposed to a round head is with a square head, the material is going to move in 2 directions, whereas a round head is going to move in all directions. So this will spread the blade more than this will. Guys will try to take this billet down to almost perfect. I don't recommend doing that. As you saw with the, you might be able to see with the edge against the anvil is sucking the heat right out of it. And what will happen with a cable, or any Damascus for that matter, when it gets below a forging temperature, it'll tend to want to shear. So if you have a shear in the edge, you're going to have to grind it out, and that's just a lot more work. Leave yourself about a 1/16 of an inch grind tolerance. Now switched over to my ginormous vice grip. It just makes it so much easier to hold on to the blade. Always pulling that edge down towards me. Let's work on the tip a little bit more. Nice finishing heat. Using a round face hammer, kind of smooth things out. Make sure everything's nice and great. Now we're ready to normalize and anneal, and the next part will be to grind. Notice I left plenty of grind tolerance, and my ricassos will move up in here. That way everything looks nice and neat. Okay, the grinding is now complete. This is the rough grind. We're going to get it ready for heat treat. I got the forge heating up, and I also have the tempering oven because you want to go ahead and temper that thing. Now, this is some very special cable. If you remember from the first video, I spoke of a extra IPS, and that's what this is. What makes this cable unique, it does have a higher carbon content, and the alloying compounds within the steel let it do something that most cable will not do, and that is make a Hammond. And so I'm going to apply a clay-backed process to it and see if we can't coax a Hammond out of this steel. This will be the first time I've ever tried this with this particular steel type.